Welcome to the Heart of Giving. We are a program that brings to you the nonprofits in the city of Long Beach. Those are the groups that do things because they love it. They do things because they donate their time and sometimes money. It's something that we need to know more about because the city is filled with groups that love the city and are taking care of special needs that we have in our city and caring for one another. And today we have Val Parker. And Val, I'm going to let you introduce Janae in a minute. I can remember you, how many years ago?
Just about almost five.
I think it was before that.
Oh, maybe.
Because I was still in office.
Oh, maybe, yes.
So,
okay.
But anyway, and she came up to me with this idea that she was trying to get started. And I think that maybe, I'm going to ask you what you do, but I think you had maybe 3 or 4 volunteers that were helping you. And I want you to tell us what you do now, how many are involved with this, and some success stories. And I know Janae is probably one of them.
Exactly,
so,
from the beginning, yeah. You're right, that was a while ago.
Okay, Val, it's your turn now.
So I'm Power for Youth Mentoring Program. So we are a one-on-one academic mentoring program. Our goal is to help kids to do better in school through matching them with a mentor. So we're a site-based program where mentors meet with their students, middle school or high school students, at a location. But we're not a tutoring program. We're way more than tutoring and homework. The goal is to help them to do school by addressing the behind-the-scenes issues, the broad things that are helping the kids, keeping the kids from doing their best.
But also with helping them with their homework.
With their homework, right. But it's not necessarily doing the homework as much as learning how to do homework, how to study, how to take notes, test taking. So it's the things that can be applied across to all classes.
And you've gone from the 3 that you told me about to how many?
So today we have 60, this year we had 60 mentors in our program.
And how do you
from
get
one
these
location
mentors?
up to 6 sites.
How do you get them?
They come from all over. So word of mouth, newspaper, shows like this, a lot, just Googling mentoring and Power for Youth hopefully will pop up. So the mentors are a variety. I mean, everything from college students to retired folks and everything in between. So almost anybody can be a mentor because we work hard then to match them with a student that would take with the gifts the adults are bringing and have those
And when
needs.
you say gifts, you mean knowledge?
And skills and personality, all of those things. So kids are middle school when they join the program, they're struggling, they're failing
So they're
at least
middle school age children.
when they join.
Okay.
And they are usually failing at least one class. So they're coming because they're failing, math or something. But lots of times it's not just about math, it's these other broader things that are happening in their life that they need help with.
And how many times a week or a month or?
Pairs meet weekly for about an hour and a half. So once a week for an hour and a half, and that's all it takes. Research, we're a very research-based program, and that consistency of an hour, hour and a half a week makes a huge difference.
Just talking?
Talking, working on homework, working on school, reading.
Getting to know each other.
Getting to know, building that relationship, and then helping them create goals for their future and be motivated to follow those goals.
Do mentors have more than one
No.
mentee?
No, it's all one-on-one.
One-to-one.
So they can really focus on building that relationship.
Okay. And if somebody wanted to be a mentor to really help a junior high age student, they would get in touch with Power for Youth.
Absolutely,
I see.
absolutely. And it's Power for Youth with the number 4, easy to find. And then I say we have middle school, but we also have high school kids in the program.
That started as
middle school.
I see.
Exactly, and they can stay in the program until they graduate from high school.
And have you had any that go from junior high through high school?
Absolutely, absolutely. Probably about half of our students are high school kids and half are middle school kids.
And how do the students know about you? Is it by reference from the schools?
Pretty much, yes.
I see.
Kids can come all different ways too, through social service agencies, maybe social workers or word of mouth, or their churches, but primarily it is through the counselors from the schools that refer the kids. That they say, oh, these kids in middle school, they just need that little oomph.
And probably a lot of them need to be picked up.
Well, we're in neighborhoods, so we're located, we have
within the
locations.
for your area.
Yeah, so whatever neighborhood they live in, they can find a location.
I see.
So,
So you go to that neighborhood, yeah.
Yes, we are a neighborhood-based program.
Okay, and like where do you meet them? In churches?
In churches.
In churches.
In churches. We're not a church program, but churches.
They give you facilities.
They provide the facilities, exactly, and they tend to be where kids live. So we're in churches that have space. They have space all week, so we can take their space. They're happy to have somebody there using their facilities, and there we are.
And who coordinates all of this?
Me.
I knew that.
Yes.
So you've got a bigger job than you did at the beginning, that's for
Oh
sure.
yes, I think so.
So
yeah.
you interview the mentors and the mentees before you place
I
them?
make them, yes, definitely. That's the funnest part of my job, is the making the matches, getting to know the mentors, getting to know the students, and then putting them together. I think I must have been a matchmaker in my other life or something.
Well, I know Janae is here for a special
Yes.
reason, so introduce her and tell us what she is doing.
Yeah, so Janae Fields is one of our mentors. She is also on our board of directors. We're very fortunate that a lot of our board members come from our mentor pool, because we have a huge variety of mentors. But Janae's been in our program, and her student Tiffany just finished her freshman year of school. So they've been together for a couple years, and you could tell your story on how you and Tiffany.
Tell us about how you got started to begin with before you met Tiffany.
Absolutely.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I'm from Seattle, and we have a huge family, and I've always kind of worked for the Boys and Girls Clubs, and so I'm just kind of, I'm used to being around kids, and so when I moved to California from Seattle, it was just kind of, I missed that aspect. So I had a girlfriend who found Power for Youth, and she told me about it, and I signed up and interviewed, and about 2 months later, I was like, oh, what's happened? But 2 months later, and that's why it's so important. She does the matching. She really matches. And so about 2 months later, she called and she said, I think I have the perfect student for you. And come to find out, the student had just had a tragedy in her life, and I had also had just had a tragedy in mine. And it was kind of like, that was almost like our bond.
Important to
Yeah,
both
exactly,
of you.
right. And so when I got with her and we started meeting, and it was just like, today it's like that's my little sister. It was tough in the beginning, but she went from failing all her classes to almost perfect A's her first year. She never played sports. She went to playing 0 sports to 3 sports. She had missed out on a lot of math, and we just kind of turned everything around from her. Now she's gone from this shy little quiet girl to she's comes to speaking engagements with with us. So it's like she's just flourishing. She's doing so good. I'm so proud of her, and that's again, it's like why it's so important to. I guess what kind of puts Power for Youth kind of sets them apart from other sites is that we do the matching, and if they didn't focus so much on making a perfect match, then she may become disinterested. A mentor may become disinterested down the road, or whatever. Exactly.
Empathize with each other.
Right. And so it's like that's what holds the bond together. And a lot of these students, they've had people who have come in and out of their life, and they sometimes don't have trust issues, and so that's kind of important. It's like, we bond, and I trust you, and we're going to do this together. So it's great. We meet at Antioch Church, and every Thursday, and sometimes on the weekends. She calls me all the time to tell me what's going on, and she's doing great. I'm really proud of her.
Well, she feels beholden to you too, I'm sure, because you're her friend, and she doesn't want to disappoint her friend. Right.
So, and that's she knows she would rather a teacher call home than call me, basically. So she knows that, but it's good. We mix up. It's fun. It's also a little, it's discipline. I have to guide her. I have to push her, and I have to encourage her. But I also have to have that. It's okay. Let's laugh together too. And so we kind of do all those things. And so that's what really forms, such a strong bond. It's like we do it all. We do it all. So
how does this differ from? You mentioned big brothers, big sisters. How does it differ from that? Is it because you spend time with them working individually, but you just don't go to movies on weekends, and is that it?
Right. We have a fairly structured program, especially initially. So I think being site-based is a big help. The mentors and the students have a safe place. They both, a safe, neutral place. They can both come and be together. There's a staff person if there are any questions or concerns that's on site. As Janae said, many of the pairs flourish beyond that initial site-based program, and they end up doing more stuff together. I think they went to Museum of Tolerance yesterday, for instance.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But initially, it's that being a site-based program with a focus on academics. Our goal is always coming back to doing better in school.
Right.
And it all, so we have a goal, and the kids can get into that, and you know, it gives you a focus point.
Well, that's excellent, and you're changing lives. And that's what you had as your initial goal.
That's what we do.
That was your mission.
Yes.
Well, I know that people are going to be interested and maybe even want to be a mentor.
That'd be great.
And I know that you could be found very easily because Power for Youth has a 4 in it.
Yes.
So that's how I remembered it for a long time.
Exactly.
Well, I'm delighted that both of you were here. Thank you very
Thank you
much
very
for
much.
being
Thank
here.
you.
We're happy to know what you do and that the success it shows
Thank
in
you.
the lives.
Thank you.
Thank you very much to you for watching. We have another segment, so please stay on.
Hi, I'm Judy Ross. I'm the Executive Director of the Long Beach Nonprofit Partnership, and we are so delighted to be partnering with Beverly O'Neill and PadNet, our new public access television network, with the Heart of Giving. This is an opportunity to really showcase our wonderful nonprofits in our community. The Long Beach Nonprofit Partnership helps nonprofits become strong and sustainable.
Welcome back. We're glad that you're here to share more interesting information on the nonprofits in the city of Long Beach. This time, we are talking about something a little bit different than we have when we talk about volunteering and when we talk about giving of your time. We have the New Hope Support Group with us today, and I'm going to introduce you to Suzanne Bean, who is a longtime friend. In fact, I think you said you were my student at Long Beach City College,
Right.
and so it's nice to see you again.
Thank you.
And you are the director of the New Hope.
That's right.
And tell us what the New Hope is.
New Hope Grief Support Community is a nonprofit locally and based out of Long Beach where we provide grief support for children, teens, adults, parents who've lost children. We help military families as the need arises. And we do that through 8-week grief groups programs, as well as we have 2 camps a year. We provide grief support for the Long Beach Unified School District and all ages, as well as Sunburst Youth Academy on the base at Los Alamitos.
And how do you get the people that need this grief support? Did you get them through the hospitals, through the court, through the schools? How do you find, I mean, because people maybe don't even know they're going through it.
Right. Many are friends telling a friend through therapists, referrals, counselors in the school districts, clergy, local agencies of Long Beach, other nonprofits that know about us, partnerships that we have with other places like Ronald McDonald House, etc.
And how long have you been in existence?
We're going into our 14th year. I've actually been doing grief support for almost 30 years, but as a nonprofit, 14 here in Long Beach.
And how did it start?
Actually, it first began when I was a student. My first year, semester, first 2 weeks of college at Long Beach City. I was headed into education, but my father died. And so what I did was I quit college, and that's the only way I knew how to grieve. And if you don't deal with your grief, it waits for you. So my grief sat there. Eventually, I knew I would go back to school after I had my marriage, family, and I headed back to city again for my nursing career this time. Early on, I knew, though, that I wanted to do hospice nursing. That would be my focus. And right out of college, graduation, I went to work at VA Medical Center, Long Beach, in a cancer, excuse me, leukemia unit. And that was the closest I could get to a hospice program with getting that hospital experience. It was there that I saw a lot of grief, plus while I was in pre-med, I lost my best friend and my sister-in-law. So there was more grief layering, and once I got to the unit at Veterans, the grief just began to layer, and I became very curious and searching for help, and there wasn't anything. Read every book I could find, as well as took every class or program that was out there, and that was in 1986.
Did you know you were grieving?
I knew something was wrong. It was just a heaviness inside of me. I was very comfortable with the dying patient and working with families and the patient and with death, but the grief just began to overwhelm me, and I began to say, what is this grief part that's left behind? From those classes, I put together a handbook for grieving people, and then I said, well, what am I going to do with this? And in 1987, I read a book about grief support groups, and I said, that's what I'll do. So for the next 14 years, I worked full-time as a hospice nurse and in high-risk case management and other fields of nursing. And during the evenings, I would offer 8-week grief group programs in the community. And my referrals would come from clergy or doctors or therapists or social workers when they learned about my program. And 1999, I attend Grace Church Long Beach. Our pastor, Lou Huseman, said in a class, get out of these seats and into the streets and help the homeless and the hungry. And I said, the grieving, we need to do more about this. There's nothing out there. So out of us seeing no need being met, I felt like it was time for us to make this a nonprofit. So I quit my nursing career and cut our income in half. And there we go. My husband was a teacher at Long Beach Poly for many years, and so we lived very simple, and we could put the nonprofit in motion in 1999.
And when you say you put this program, what did you put in place? What did you do to not just start it, but also what did you offer?
Right from the get-go, we offered, just like I had been doing, adult grief support groups for anybody who lost somebody. And then quickly, I also knew the need would be there we had to help children and teens because there wasn't anything out there. And so with the help of volunteers, we're really much a volunteer-driven agency. Our staff consists of myself, David as our Director of Marketing and Development, and Allison, our Administrative Assistant and Program Assistant. We are only 3. Quickly, the need I saw was to train volunteers so that we could then help children and start. So I wrote children program groups and then teen groups and wrote books for kids, and we have a handbook for children, and put that all in motion. Got a partnership going with Long Beach Unified and some other school districts nearby, and do school groups and evening groups and whatever.
Good. Well, we'll come back to this.
Sure.
But how does David fit into all this?
Oh, you want to tell the secret millionaire story?
Sure, yeah. So thanks for having us. We really appreciate
Yes,
it.
by the way.
Good.
Yeah, excited to be here. So we were approached a little over a year ago. Actually, we celebrated a 1-year anniversary on July 8th.
Who's we?
New Hope.
Okay.
And the anniversary that we shared was about on July 8th. Prior to that, we were approached by a group of people who said that they were wanting to film a documentary about volunteerism in America. And they'd called a number of nonprofits in Long Beach, and they got denied by some. But Sue, in her optimism and just willingness to say, no, this is a great opportunity, said, sure, come on down. We'd love to do that. And so what they did was they filmed a whole week long about how New Hope was serving people and helping people. And this woman by the name of Hillary DeCesar came along, and she was the main volunteer in the show. And so we're going Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They're filming, they're helping, she's helping. Well, on the last day, as it comes to Susan's there, and she tells her, I'm not who you think I am. Well, then who are you? And with a smile on her face, she says, I'm Hillary DeCesar. I am actually the founder and CEO of a corporation called Everloop. And I have a donation and a check for you. And she wrote us a check for $75,000.
Oh my goodness.
On the spot.
Is that right?
And on July 8th of last year, that show then aired on national television to millions of people. And that kind of created a wonderful wave for us of people needing support and wanting to donate and give back and volunteer time. And so with that, New Hope was already gearing up and in a place to where they knew that they needed to hire someone to fill the kind of the fundraising and the marketing piece of the organization to kind of take it to the new
Along
next.
comes David.
And I'd already been volunteering there for 5 years.
Oh, you had?
I lost my mom when I was 27, and I was dealing with my grief as well, and I didn't know what to do about it. And through a series of fortunate events, I met Susan and New Hope, and I'd asked her if they had something for young adults, and she did. And she was starting a group 2 weeks later, and I signed up reluctantly, but I knew I needed to go. And I got into the group, and actually a few weeks into that group that Susan was leading, she lost someone dear to her heart, and she's like, David, I need you to help out, and we're doing a kids camp. This is before we did family camp. She's like, I need you to be a counselor. I know you used to work K through 5 after school for Long Beach Unified, and I need to tap into those skill sets. And I said, well, maybe you haven't noticed, but I'm in the middle of my grief group trying to deal with my grief. And you know what? Something inside said, go. And I went and I met a young boy, about 5 years of age, and he shared with me how his mommy died. And in that moment, my grief felt like this big. And I knew I was in the right place. And so I continued to volunteer and build the relationship and the friendship with Sue and her husband and the organization. And the rest is kind of history.
It's wonderful when people find out they're not alone.
That's right. That's right.
It's interesting you should say that. One of our things our taglines is that no person should have to grieve alone. No family, no parent, no child, no adult should have to grieve alone or in solitude.
Right.
Well, you know, and people don't know what's wrong.
No,
they just know they're sad.
That's right.
And how do they get in touch with you if somebody's listening and would like to talk with you more?
All they need is our phone number, Beverly. Really. It's just,
It's
we're
under
just a
New
call
Hope?
away.
It's
Yes,
at
it
our
is.
website.
On our website.
It's in the telephone book also?
You can call 411 and find us.
Okay.
Yes.
Correct.
Very
Find
good.
us online at our website.
Yeah. Well, you're providing a service that's wonderful. And how many do you have involved with this?
Volunteer-wise?
And people coming?
We'll do 26 grief groups, 8 weeks each this year in various
and
aspects.
how many are in the group?
Usually we register 10 to 12 in a
10
group.
to 12 in a group.
Right. You know, it's small group dynamics so that the people feel comfortable where they can come and voice their suffering and share this and come away with hope.
And you know, and people feel, you know, you explained it very well, David, that you were going through this and thinking you were alone, and all of a sudden you see this young boy and yours is about this big and his is this big. And I think that people are hesitant to come and express themselves personally.
Absolutely.
Hard to let go of that, you know, well, I don't want to talk about it.
Right.
Or I don't need help.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm
I don't
okay.
need help.
I'm
but,
going to make it.
Well, that's wonderful. And I thank you so much. You know, it almost made me cry because people have to go through these things and don't realize that they don't have to do it alone.
And that's the key is that, you know, that identification, as you mentioned, is so important. And with children and teens, it's real important too because they think they're the only one on the playground. And the other thing that they struggle with is we're not a family anymore. And we can help them understand that's
wonderful.
not true.
Well, you did a good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad I had you as a student.
That's right. You taught me well.
Thank you very much. It's nice to have both of you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Beverly.
And we thank you very much for watching. The segments today have been really revealing, I think, in what you can do to help others. And what you're going through, you're not alone. So thank you very much for being with us today, and thank you for being part of the Heart of Giving.